Hello everybody, my name is Austin Gamer MG, that's me, and welcome back to another video. Gosh, this has been a while since I've done one of these. Well, today I thought I'd start up another video on my thoughts on Obi-Wan Kenobi Continued. So, recently episodes 3 and 4 had came out in the last 2 weeks, so I figured why not just like do 2 episodes per video. So there are going to be 3 total videos on my thoughts on the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. This is part 2 of that installment, and the finale of this review series will be coming to an end within 2 weeks. At least that's the plan, unless Disney decides to like move the date of some of the episodes. Who knows? It's Disney. They can do anything they want. So for today's video, we're going to be talking about episodes 3 and 4 of Obi-Wan Kenobi that just recently came out. Honestly, very exciting. I will go ahead and say that these 2 are better than episodes 1 and 2, considering, yeah, episodes 1 and 2 are just a start, but still, regardless, my thoughts is I really like them compared to the first 2 episodes. So, with that being said, don't forget, this does contain spoilers, so if you haven't watched the Kenobi series and you want to, I highly recommend going on ahead and watching it before you continue watching this video. Pause this video right now, go watch those 2 episodes, and then unpause this video to hear my thoughts about them. If you have seen it, go on ahead and continue watching, or if you just don't care, go ahead and watch it anyways, just so you can get a bit of an understanding. So, that being said, let's get right into it. Although before we do, if you do like this video, be sure to drop a like. The support has been insane recently. We are getting ever so slightly close to 400 subscribers. Been doing some live streams for the past couple of days, trying my hardest to get 400 subscribers. So hopefully we can hit that real soon. We've been at this for way too long. We need to hit 400, guys. So hopefully we can do that eventually. I am excited how we're inching closer and closer every day. And yeah, comment down below if you agree with some of my thoughts, or if you have some other opinions you'd like to share. Let me know. I'd be interested to hear what you guys' thoughts on the Kenobi series are, or if you just have any questions about the Star Wars universe, I would gladly expand upon it. So, getting right into it, let's see. So what was episodes 3 and 4 about? Well, episode 3 obviously takes place after Obi-Wan had rescued Leia. They met some guy who I actually did forget to mention. I was going to put a picture of him, but there was a character, I don't know his name, that pretended to be a Jedi in episode 2, but really he was just scamming them of money, but still he did give them safe passage, but just scammed them of their credits while doing it. So Obi-Wan easily phases through his lie, and eventually, when Obi-Wan gets bountied by the third sister, who, by the way, my apologies, her name is actually pronounced Reva, not Raven. So it's just Raven, but without an N, so it's pronounced Reva. So yeah, the third sister, if you remember her, put a bounty on Obi-Wan because she wants Obi-Wan so badly. He actually tries to go for the bounty at first, is what it seems like, but he actually ends up helping Obi-Wan. So he told him to meet this pilot, and they'd take him on a different planet to where he would meet some other people for safe passage. So by the time they get there, they end up not finding the person, so he assumed that it was a lie. So him and young Leia move along until they get caught by the Empire. But luckily, the person that was supposed to rendezvous with them actually caught them in the nick of time and saved the 2 of them, led them to her hideout, where she explains that there were actually other Jedi that she's helped before in the past, considering there were markings with the different Jedi's handwriting. And I really like how they added Quinlan Vos to the mix. If you don't know who that is, he's actually a Jedi from Clone Wars. So they actually put his markings on there, saying that he actually survived Order 66, which isn't all that surprising considering some of the comic books say that he did survive, but it's still a nice detail since Obi-Wan actually has associated with Quinlan Vos in the Clone Wars. So yeah. After that, Darth Vader would later try and confront Obi-Wan, and thus the rematch of the century happens. Obi-Wan struggling to fight because this was once his old friend slash Padawan. and he still is trying to regain some of his force power, struggles to fight Darth Vader, and Darth Vader ends up doing the most poetic thing ever. He ends up burning Obi-Wan. Now, the reason it's poetic is because in Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan, when he defeats Anakin, leaves him for dead on Mustafar, and Anakin actually starts burning. So since he lost most of his limbs and his entire body was cooked alive, he thought he'd repay Obi-Wan by doing the same thing, and damn was it poetic and also very brutal. Like, Darth Vader was incredibly menacing that episode. That being said, Obi-Wan actually does manage to escape thanks to the help of the girl that saved them earlier. I can't remember her name. I forget a lot of these characters' names. I'd have to rewatch it like over and over to get a good memory of the characters' names. Now, continuing on, what is Episode 4 about? Well, unfortunately, Obi-Wan and Leia actually get split up, and so does the girl that was helping Leia escape. She tells her to go get Obi-Wan, but she ends up getting caught by Reva, thus taken to Fort Inquisitorius, or however you say it. It's basically this fort where the Inquisitors mainly live. So Obi-Wan is on a rescue mission to try and save her. And it's basically, I'll give you a quick rundown of this. If you've seen the Jedi Fallen Order video game, it's basically that. Like, that is literally what Episode 4 kind of is. They break in by going underwater, and then he goes through the prison block, rescues Leia, and like does some really cool horror stuff where he like turns out the lights and just slices stormtroopers. I really love just everything about it. They manage to escape, but unfortunately in the end there's a little teaser where Reva is actually tracking them because Darth Vader, extremely disappointed, nearly kills Reva for failing. But she points out to him that she has been tracking them, so he spares her and tells her not to fail her again, and hopefully that this works. So that's basically the plot of that. Now, my thoughts on it, we're going to start with Episode 3, of course. So, I really like how in Episode 3, again, just the rematch of the century, Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan, while it was kind of like bland since Obi-Wan was really struggling and trying to mainly run away from Vader because he was mostly afraid and also not as strong. It's understandable though, but it's really cool. I still like it regardless, especially because again, the poetic ending where he starts to burn Obi-Wan alive. Like, he dumps some like weird thing, I don't know what they're called, sorry, he dumps the stuff, like flammable stuff, across the sand, holds Obi-Wan in the air with the Force, puts his lightsaber on the ground and starts a fire, and then thus slams Obi-Wan on the ground, drags him through the flames, slowly burning him. God, the torture, the pain. Vader was just brutal, especially with his entrance. Because if his entrance didn't say enough, I don't know what did. Which actually made me come up with this funny meme. So like, Vader is just this unstoppable force, and that's what I really like. They just went so dark with his character. This man's entrance, he literally comes up like, I would honestly say, in my personal opinion, that this scene just beats the hallway scene from Rogue One by a long shot. This man walking across a village of unarmed people, unarmed civilians, he force chokes some farmer, then proceeds to snap his son's neck, killing him, and then he just drags some random woman across the floor. Like, Vader is just brutal. If that doesn't explain enough, then I don't know what will. But yeah, so the one thing that really just got me sparked up was that right there. Like, that was so cool. And just the fact that Obi-Wan just tried his best to stay on the defensive as he did to Anakin the first time is also quite a nice detail. Now, some things I really don't like about Episode 3, though, is the problem is, okay, so in the scene where the girl is taking Leia to the ship, Before she does, Leia says to Leia says to go back for Obi-Wan, which she does because she doesn't want to leave Obi-Wan behind since Obi-Wan was the one who saved her. But the problem I have with this is before that, Reva, aka the third sister, was actually found their secret passageway and ends up following down the exact same hallway. Now, based on the design of the hallway, it looks like it's only a one-way trip, but obviously it doesn't seem to be the case when she just goes on some random high ground position to snipe the stormtroopers trying to get to Obi-Wan when Vader tells them to bring Obi-Wan to him. But yet we don't see any design like that. So upon first watch, you would think, oh, she's gonna run into the third sister and probably get killed in the process or have some sort of confrontation. But apparently she didn't. They just didn't see each other. But somehow, when Leia's trying to get to the ship, the third sister ends up getting ahead of Leia somehow, and is the whole reason she's able to capture her. I just didn't understand that at all. That's really about the only problem I had with that one. Although there was a few funny memes that I had, like there's this one part, like I said, Vader's entrance is really funny because I just came up with this meme where it's like Anakin from Attack of the Clones where he's talking to Padme and he says, I killed them all, and not just the men, as he force chokes the farmer dude, but the women, drags the woman across the floor, and the children too, and then just snaps the kid's neck. Like, oh my god, I just came up with that meme and it was so funny to me. But and the other meme I actually came up with, there was another meme that I made where, so you know how Disney is now owns Star Wars and has been for the longest time. Well, Disney is really known to not like a lot of violent things, and yet when you watch Episode 3, you think to yourself, wow, was this really made by Disney? And then you realize, yes it was. So there's this scene where they're being interrogated, well, not really interrogated, but like checked, like some patrol stops Obi-Wan and Leia because they get picked up by some truck driver dude who's actually loyal to the Empire. But they get stopped and they're like interrogated. So at one point, Obi-Wan is just like shooting down all these stormtroopers at the gate, and there's one that's like on this outpost watchtower thingy. Obi-Wan actually snipes him, and the dude just like falls onto the laser beam wall that's blocking the way because it's all like lasers, and gets cut in half. Like like normally Disney does not approve of that, so I legit made a meme where it's like, Disney, whenever somebody remotely gets hurt, that's way too violent, but Disney also be like, cuts the man in half. So yeah, that was a thing. Don't get me wrong, like I said, Episode 3 is probably my favorite among the 4 episodes so far. Who knows, maybe 5 or 6 might top it, who knows. No confirmation just yet, but we'll figure it out eventually. We'll see what happens. There's still many possibilities. Now, with that being said, let's see. So, next episode, Episode 4, what I really liked about it was just the whole feel of it, just how it feels like Jedi Fallen Order, because it kind of is. Obi-Wan just like uses his like swim gear from like the Phantom Menace to sneak in through the underwater passageway, goes through, and then just like goes through the entire prison block and just makes his way to finding Leia. Meanwhile, Reva is interrogating Leia to see, because she believes that Leia knows where the hidden Jedi are that made all those markings on the wall, which actually really confuses me considering Leia had never seen a Jedi before. So, like, she didn't even believe that Obi-Wan was a Jedi, so I don't understand why Reva would think that she would have any idea where those hidden Jedi that made their markings on the wall would be. But, I guess more of that might be explained on, like, some post or something. Who knows? I don't know. But another cool thing about it is just the whole like break-in section. Like the girl that was helping Obi-Wan and Leia keeps helping by just like putting, like, she still uses her Imperial disguise that she used in the previous episode to rescue them to get passageway, even when she's being questioned because her ID chip wasn't working. She just uses like her upper rankings to like just like get past security, even though the security technology wouldn't allow her to pass. Like, I always find that funny whenever like technology that's supposed to like indicate you whether somebody is actually real or fake, and then they just like say, oh, I outrank you, so this machine means nothing, so let me through, and they just do it anyways. I always find those scenes quite funny, because it's like, wow, you are dumb, but I guess you have to follow orders. So yeah. Now, another thing I really liked was just there's this scene that Obi-Wan, when he's looking for Leia, he ends up finding this room where there are these like frozen bodies that look like they're like trophies. It's these frozen bodies of Jedi that have most likely died during Order 66, because like it kind of brings up the Star Wars Rebels Season 1 reference, where there's the one episode where the Empire makes a fake recording that Luminara Unduli from the Republic is still alive, try and lure the rebels, the Ghost Crew, in, and it works. But whenever they actually find her, she looks real, but she's actually a hologram, and she goes back into her frozen case, and we see that she's actually dead. So it's one of those types of chamber things, and the first thing he actually sees is this dinosaur-looking Jedi who looks an awful lot like this character, and I actually saw his name on YouTube, so I actually remember his name, called Tara Sinube, who helped Ahsoka in this one Clone Wars episode where she lost her lightsaber. Like, somebody pickpocketed her lightsaber, so she went to him for help. And he's like this old Jedi who's like very slow, but he's also pretty skilled, because he's like the slow and steady type, wins the race. And he had that white lightsaber that was a part of his cane, which was really cool. He was, I think theoretically that was him whenever Obi-Wan looks at the first Jedi he sees. But it was just so creepy. It was like a horror scene about how Obi-Wan is seeing all these dead Jedi hanging in the against the wall like they're some sort of trophies. It's just terrifying. And another thing I really like was just the exit sequence. I really find it funny how whenever Obi-Wan first breaks into the fortress, he knocks out this one stormtrooper that saw the gateway that he was using open up. He's like, what is this suspicious activity? He knocks him out, and yet he doesn't put on any of the armor to disguise himself. He just casually moves along. But whenever they need to escape, obviously he can't just walk around in his regular clothes, so he actually ends up putting on an Imperial outfit at that moment, but not earlier, so I always found that funny. And then the last thing I think I was a major fan of was just, again, the exit sequence where they're just blasting through the stormtroopers trying to escape, where unfortunately they are cornered until they are saved at the last second. And then we just get the touching moment where Leia really connects to Obi-Wan because of how many times he saved her life. It's really nice. Although I do find it kind of hilarious, because I remember when this series was getting ready to come out, I saw on Instagram that there was a theory, it wasn't actually confirmed at the time, but there was a theory that at least one of the episodes was going to be about saving Leia, but it's just like, that's just what 2/3 of this series is about. And I ain't complaining about it. I just find it funny. I just didn't think the whole series was gonna be about that. I thought it was just gonna be like a one and done thing. But I guess it makes sense, because like, what else would he do if that wasn't the case? Like, what else would there be for Obi-Wan to do? Now, some of the things I really don't like about it, though, about the 4th episode, is just like, Disney at this point in time has gone on and off about how lightsabers work. Because as we know, throughout the prequel trilogy, lightsabers can pretty much cut through almost anything until the Mandalorian series came by, and whenever a Mandalorian is wearing real Beskar armor, it can't cut through that. Just like it can't, like in Mando season 2, he's dueling like Grand Moff Gideon, who's wielding the Darksaber, which should be able to pretty much cut through anything. But like his armor is made of Beskar, so he can't really cut through that. And he's also using the Beskar spear, since Mandalorians don't really wield lightsabers. So yeah, it just proves that it can't cut through anything, but it can cut through pretty much almost anything. But with that being said, so clone and stormtrooper armor basically are things that lightsabers can cut through. But there's this one scene when Leia's put in like the interrogation room, or like the torture chamber, I should say, and Obi-Wan like shuts off the lights and does this little horror sequence where he like turns on his lightsaber, kills one of the stormtroopers, turns it off, walks over to the other side and kills the other one. But before that, when he's killing the first one, his lightsaber kind of just bounces off, like he hits the stormtrooper and his lightsaber just kind of bounces off the stormtrooper's armor, which really confuses me. Like why? What? I don't understand. I don't understand what logic they had. Like, it should have just cut through his body and split him in half. I don't understand why. Like, Obi-Wan like swung at the stormtrooper twice, and like the lightsaber just bounced off his armor, and then he slashes him again to do the killing blow. What? Where did that even come from? I don't understand why Disney thinks this was a good idea, but apparently that's just how it is now, and it just really confuses me. Because there are times, like in the first episode, where there was that random woman that was like saying, "Oh, you Sith don't. The Outer Rim is not controlled by your empire. You have no authority here." And the third Inquisitor just like, the third sister just like comes up to her and like slices her hand off in one go. And yet whenever Obi-Wan tries to slash through the stormtrooper, it bounces off their armor. I just really did not get that. That just didn't make any sense. And another thing, again, that I don't like is just how Reva is interrogating Leia, thinking as if she knows everything about the Jedi, when she's never even met a Jedi until she met Obi-Wan. That always confused me. I never understood that. But yeah, just, it really confused me on how that actually worked. But yeah, so that was my thoughts mainly. Now, what's to come next? I'm not sure. Like, oh yeah, there's also one more thing I forgot to discuss. One more thing that I almost forgot was, again, the Grand Inquisitor, as we know, got stabbed in episode 2 of Obi-Wan, and the thing that really bugged me about episodes 3 and 4 the most was how they mentioned his name at least once in both episodes but didn't show any progress in him. So like at the very beginning, when Vader's in his whole, like in his castle on Mustafar, talking to Reva through the HoloNet, she mentions the Grand Inquisitor's name, but then Vader says he doesn't care about him and that Obi-Wan takes priority, which makes sense. But it just really bugs me how they mention him but don't say anything about how he's doing. And then they did the same thing again. I forgot at what scene, but I know they mentioned his name again. And I was going to say that was going to bug me a lot, and it still does, but the only reason it doesn't bug me as much now is because actually, like, a few hours ago, Rupert Friend, the actor for the live-action Grand Inquisitor, actually got interviewed, and apparently the reasoning behind why he's able to survive the stab wound that Reva gave him was because apparently his alien species has 2 stomachs. So apparently she only stabbed through one of his stomachs. So that's the only reason he was able to live, apparently. At least that's what they're hinting at. We haven't actually seen him make a return, so who knows? He could be in the next episode or in the finale. But Yeah, because like I said, we all know he lives to die in the end of season 1 of Rebels, so that's why it always confused me. But yeah, apparently they're going with the fact that he survived being stabbed because he has 2 stomachs and only one of his stomachs was stabbed. Really, really odd way to say that. Like for the Let me rephrase that. It's a really odd way to show how your character survived being stabbed, but I guess whatever works, works. Keep in mind, guys, I should have probably mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but I am recording this at literally 2 in the morning. So, yeah. I know I sound like loud and proud and excited, but I am I'm not really actually that tired, but I'm a little bit tired. And, yeah, so that's something. That's just something to keep in mind. I am recording this at like 2 in the morning. I don't know if I'm going to add any pictures as I'm explaining this. I probably will. I just don't know. It'll probably take a while for me to upload this, considering how long the last one took. But yeah, my theories for the next episode, now that the previous episodes have been discussed. So, I will say that there's probably going to be a big battle between like the group that's been helping the Jedi and Obi-Wan and Leia versus Darth Vader, the Inquisitors, and the Empire, since they are being tracked. But hopefully our heroes will prevail, which they probably will, but still, I can't wait to actually see what happens in episode 5. So with that being said, if you did enjoy this video, once again, be sure to drop a like and comment down below your thoughts and anything you agree or disagree with. Just anything at all. I don't mind answering your questions, or just I don't mind reading your comments about it. If you have any questions for me, or just if you have any different opinions you'd like to share, I'd be happy to hear them. Once again, this is part 2 of this installment of the review series. The finale of this review will probably be the end of this month. Who knows? I don't know. It's whenever the last 2 episodes drop out. So one's going to be dropping this coming week actually, and the next one is going to be hopefully the next week. So we shall see. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel, or if you haven't done so already. And don't forget to click that notification bell directly next to the subscribe button so you never ever miss on all of my videos or streams. That being said, guys, hope you have an awesome rest of your day or night depending on where you live. And I will see you guys for the next video. Goodbye.